This week on Taking Stock, we're in Cape Town. Naspers' head office just behind me, and Naspers are the 96% owners of the biggest internet business in Africa. Biggest internet retailer being Takealot.com. Reid started this business 9 years ago, and it's getting some interesting footfall across the continent, particularly in South Africa. But retail online in South Africa is less than 2% of all sales. One of the key problems is delivery. So recently, Takealot.com has launched a new delivery site. We'll talk about that. But in the olden days, what you used to do is you used to go to a shop and go and buy stuff and pay money. Nowadays, you go onto the internet, you pay money, and then you go and collect it yourself. It's a mystery to me. I thought the internet was meant to be simpler than that. Let's ask Reid. And that's the problem with the internet in South Africa, isn't it? Reid, Chief Executive of Takealot.com, is delivery, getting stuff from the warehouse to your customers. It's been a burden for the decade that the internet's been growing in South Africa.
It's a tough thing to get right, Bruce. If you look at where we've come from when we started the business, we realized quite early on that delivery would be a key aspect to the business, and that it was difficult. So we decided to do probably the stupidest thing, but the best thing we've done so far, is take it on ourselves. And that's how we started building what was then Mr. Delivery and what is today the Takealot Delivery Network.
Okay, because getting stuff to people's houses, there are countries in the world where deliveries happen and things are left on people's porches or left with neighbors where there are no walls, or in some cases, Amazon, can we say Amazon? Amazon has got keypads on people's doors if they get regular deliveries, and the delivery guy's got the keypad and pushes a few digits in and leaves it at the front door. We're just not that kind of society.
I think in the States it's easier, and they seem to, they talk about drones and all that type of stuff, and we'll see where that goes. But in South Africa, what we tried to do originally was try and hit certain delivery slots. Now what happens with that is it starts becoming very difficult to do, and it starts becoming quite expensive. So really the evolution of delivery has come from trying to do things in a very particular way and trying to hit certain times to making it broader, but now providing options. So that's really where the click and collect points come in, and that's where we're trying to drive to click and collect now, because what it really does, and we can't do it right now and we will be doing it in time, is we'll be pushing people, so you order something and it's supposed to arrive on a Monday. Okay, you on the weekend your boss phones you and says you're not going to be at the office on Monday, you're going to be wherever, and you think, oh crumbs, I've got a delivery that I need to collect, and there's a delivery that needs to happen, and how am I going to get it? So what we want to be able to provide is a facility for people to be able to push that to a pickup point. So you can then go and pick it up at your convenience, which just provides that added level of convenience for delivery as such.
Because in the olden days, what we used to do was we would go to the shops and we would pick things up off the shelves and put them into a trolley and then go and buy them. Nowadays, what you're saying to people is, go onto the internet, choose what you want, we'll put it into a box for you, then you come to a delivery point, essentially a shop, and collect it. Doesn't that undermine what the internet and internet shopping is all about the click, delivery, convenience? It undermines the growth in this country.
Look, I think it doesn't undermine it. I think the way we see it again is that it provides an added level of convenience. So we don't expect 100% of deliveries now to go to click and collect.
Only about, what, 13, 14%?
Yeah, I mean anything between 10 and 20 I think is probably where we aim. If you look at our, we've been doing this for years. So our Cape Town warehouse has been doing collects for the last 9 years. When we started the business, my objective was to get rid of collects at the Cape Town warehouse. It was a thorn in our side because we had to put in different processes, all that type of stuff. The thing is, it just never went away. So what we've had to look at is we've had to look at why people actually want to collect there. And some people want to have the experience of online, but the certainty of how I can go and get it from a physical place, while others are more traditional in online, in that they'll have it delivered either to their home or work. And now all we're doing, as I say, is we're adding that added level of convenience to the whole process.
But you then run into the logistics problems of large companies, the Pick and Pays of the world, and that you have to have a car park. You have to have a mechanism for people to come to park their cars, because we still do that. We still drive around. They then have to get into the office, stand in the queue, present a docket or a number of some description, and then collect the good, get back to the car. How do we streamline it further? How do we get convenience in South Africa? Because in amongst crime, load shedding, and congestion, South Africa makes a very difficult case for internet shopping, doesn't it?
Look, I don't think it's more difficult than anywhere else, apart from the fact that in first world countries or developed markets you have, say, less of the crime element and less of the problem of physical delivery. If you look at, we've gone through the issues of long queues at the warehouse. We had a year where it was a huge problem actually over Christmas at the warehouse, and what we used technology to fix it. So now all you do is you get your QR code when you or your PIN code when you actually have decided you're going to go and click and collect it. You arrive there, you either scan it in. I don't know if you've actually tried the New Road point yet.
I haven't tried the New Road point yet because I don't go on that road because it's a big and scary road and they charge tolls on it. But what you've done is, for anybody who doesn't know, the New Road had this restaurant over the road. There was that bridge in Midrand between Joburg and Pretoria, and you've taken over that site in terms of getting access from Africa's busiest highway and getting people off the highway in there to do their collections. Have you done some times on what it takes from exit to on-ramp once again?
Yeah, so we haven't taken exit to on-ramp, but if you look at it, there's loads of parking, so we've made sure there's loads of parking there. The experience in-store is quite simple, that you walk in with your QR code, you scan it, somebody collects it from the storage facility, which is sitting in the middle where the old Maxi's restaurant used to be. Comes down quite a nifty conveyor belt, which is a little bit of theatre in the whole experience. Your name pops on a big screen. You go and collect it from one of the counters, and you're done in roughly 2 to 5 minutes. That's really it.
I've got an image of a 1970s roadhouse where you scan your QR code as you come into the parking lot, and somebody on roller skates brings your box to your car window. It takes drive-through to a different level. Yeah,
look, drive-through's tough. This is more, click and collect, but it's what we found from our customers. We've got an NPS score that we run at these places. It's at 100% at the moment. I think the novelty of the experience may wear off in time, but when people see it, they get two things. They get a feel for who we are and our brand, so they understand who we are and what we're about. They get an experience. Kids love it, so it's worth going and having a look at it. And third, you get convenience. I mean, you get good service.
In the same way as banks are increasingly pushing people to digital and increasingly getting people out of the branches, as Takealot, you don't have a physical presence. People don't know what Takealot looks like. You don't have a shop. There's no look and feel. If you go into a ShopRite or a Checkers or a Pick n Pay or a Woolies, they're fundamentally different retail propositions. The internet doesn't allow you that feel. So this gives you a branding opportunity.
Well, it gives you a great branding opportunity because you've got 150 to 160,000 cars that pass underneath that bridge every day. And from the Johannesburg to Pretoria side, we've got a great big billboard up on the space where people actually get to see our brand, which is a good thing. I think the experience as well is again coming down to the convenience side of things. If you think about what we will push this to, is we'll actually push and just remember that this is for Takealot and Superblist, so it's both our companies in the group. It'll allow people to eventually, while they're on their way to work in the morning, order something and get it in the evening going back home. So it gives you that convenience factor. As far as physical is concerned, the physical presence of Takealot is through our branches. We have 55 branches around the country today, which are all delivery hubs as such, and we've converted 25 of those now to click and collect facilities, and we'll convert another 28 of them in this year.
But when you started Takealot, I mean, Takealot, what, 7-8 years old from its original thought process. This couldn't have been what you thought it would turn out to be.
Look, we've seen this, and it's the digital and the physical are starting to come together. And I hate the term omnichannel and that type of thing, but you start seeing more of it coming together over time. I still believe completely, and I would prefer the complete pure e-commerce, internet model where you basically deliver everything. But there are pragmatic things that you have to take care of.
Pragmatic. I mean, for example, so Amazon.com is talking about drone deliveries, and we see the footage, for example, in places like Kenya of medical delivery by drone. It's amazing. But if you were going to take a product, I don't know, a box of Lego, for example, from here and try to deliver it to Simonstown, which is down the False Bay coast from here, in summer, with a drone,
No.
your order would end up in Acerfontein because you get blown there with the southeaster. There are certain practical limitations to doing the internet in South Africa.
Look, I think on the drone side there are horses for courses. So I'm sure there are practical implementations of drone delivery. Large-scale drone delivery in this country, if it's going to be shot out of the sky or if the wind starts blowing in Cape Town, there's a whole lot of pragmatic things that you've got to consider. And I'm not bullish on drone delivery here.
When you say you're not bullish on drone delivery, you're not even considering it.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not. That changes. So in many things, we sometimes fast followers as opposed to leaders. We'll lead in pragmatic things that work for the country. And we've done so in many things. Our delivery infrastructure today is something that people are only starting to cotton on to elsewhere with a franchise model and how we actually control first-party delivery. But when we see what's happening elsewhere, and I think a lot of it's hype and marketing, we look at it and we will take it with a pinch of salt, and if it works here, we'll use it. If it doesn't, we won't use it.
Takealot.com is a whole bunch of businesses, actually. Superbalist, and you may be familiar with that. If you order MAC lipstick, for example, on the internet, it will be delivered via Superbalist. Also, Mr. Delivery, it's now known as Mr. D. They would be very, very busy between, say, 6 in the evening and 10 at night, and then the tuk-tuks and the other delivery vehicles would stand idle for the other 20 hours a day. Reid saw an opportunity in sitting that lazy infrastructure, if you like, and has bought Mr. Delivery and has brought it into the network. We'll talk about that and the evolution of Takealot.com with Reid, the founder and chief executive of Takealot.com, in a moment.